Shalom, Chag Sameach, Happy Purim, Shabbat Shalom from Jerusalem, Jane. It's Purim. It's the time where we are dressing up in costumes. I don't have any, so I just put on the blouse that I have with most color and my glasses that is blue down here and brown, and that's the best I can do. I just want to say Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach to all my Jewish friends here in Israel and around the world. If you missed the video update that I made yesterday, speaking about no matter what hardship you're going through in life, wherever you're living around the world, they are also going through that here in Israel. No matter how hard it is you're going through around the world, they're going through the same here. But they also have the existential threats from Iran and all of their proxies, the terror attacks within Israel, the rockets, the shooting. If you missed that video, please go and watch it. One of the things that is special for me, what I like about Facebook, is memories. Every day memories are coming up and you can see what you have shared the previous years. For me, living here in Israel, it never fails that several times a week, if not every other day, when I check my memories, like today, I can see that going back 1 year ago, I was reporting about another horrific terror attack here in Israel. 6 years ago, I was reporting about rockets that was flying in from the modern day Nazis in Gaza. They fired 2 rockets towards Tel Aviv. Every day there's some sort of attack that I have been reporting about in the previous years while I have lived here in Israel. Because the Haman who wanted Mordecai to hang in the gallows in the story of Esther, the national holiday that we are celebrating today. There are many Hamans around the world who want to eradicate the Jewish people. God took this young Hadassah, young Jewish girl, and she was brought into the royal court. The king was looking for a new bride, and he picked Hadassah. Naturally, this was all orchestrated by God, putting her in that position for such a time as this. She learned about this evil plot to eliminate the Jewish people. And Mordecai was saying, could it be that you were put in this position? And if you don't speak now to save your people, Queen Esther. And she said, unite the Jewish people, tell them to fast and pray for 3 days, because she had to go in front of the king, her husband, uninvited, which means that was not allowed. So for 3 days, the Jewish people came together, they united in fasting and prayer, and Queen Esther went in front of the king. And he put out his scepter, pardoning her, letting her speak, and she said, this is my request, and the Jewish people was allowed to defend themselves on that day. So this is a holiday where the Jewish people are celebrating Queen Esther, Mordecai, who saved, with God's help, stepped in front of the king, and the Jewish people were saved that day. But since then, generation after generation after generation, there has been evil Hamans who has been wanting to eradicate the Jewish people. They have been persecuted, hunted, and killed down through history for no other reason than being Jewish. That's the only reason. They're Jews and they're living in their God-given homeland. It's not for anything they do. They're being slaughtered, murdered, just for simply being who they are. So for such a time as this, it's time for the world to wake up and stand with Israel, to stand and find their moral compass, again. Because let's face it, the European Union, and especially the United Nations, is completely morally bankrupt, infested with anti-Israel haters, with anti-Semites who is coming against Israel, and making all of these ridiculous claims towards Israel, when Israel was the one who was attacked on October 7, brutally attacked. Women had nails jammed into their vaginas. Their breasts were cut off. They were raped in front of their children. They were raped in front of their husbands. Parents were murdered in front of their children. They zip-tied people, whole families, and they burned them alive. They jacked women out of cars. They mass raped them, and then they put them back in their cars, and they burned them alive. The worst atrocities since the Holocaust. So here we are in 2025, and people are more concerned about Nazi supporters, Hamas supporters, demonstrating in the streets for them than they are for the hostages who are still left in tunnels inside the Gaza Strip. The world has really lost its moral compass. Could it be for such a time as this, that when you touch the Jewish people, you are touching here the apple of God's eye? You are touching the apples of God's eye. You are touching the nation where God put his name down. And for that reason, I have said this over and over again in all of my videos for more than 10 years. Israel is not like any other nation. It never was, it never will be. The Jewish people are not like the Swedes or the Americans or the Dutch. They are separated, they are singled out in God's master plan for this world. And for that reason, we see all of this indictment, the propaganda, the hate, the lies, the evil one. It's a battle between good and evil, God and Satan, light and darkness. So the Jewish people are strong when they unite, and they need to do that a lot more than what we are seeing these days. I'm back living in a complex where I have lived before, and in order to take the trash out and to go back into the building, they have put up a lock. And one day where I had been out shopping and my trolley is full of food, including frozen chicken and everything, and I just want to get in the building and up to my apartments with my grocery, it just didn't work. I was pressing in the code, it just didn't work. And after 15 minutes, I started sweating and I was like, God, please, I was looking around, I was like, I can't, just please send someone to help me so I can get into the building. And all of a sudden, a gentleman walked up behind me and I said, can you help me because I can't get this open? So he did it, and boom, the door opened. And I said, wow, you really have the magic touch. So the other day when I was going into the elevator, that gentleman was there again. It was about a month later. And we go down in the elevator and I said, I remember you. You helped me one day when I had my trolley full of food and I couldn't get into the building. And you came up and you helped me. And I actually didn't tell him that I actually silently, had prayed and said, God, just please send someone who can help me. So as we enter the elevator, he said, well, God just put me at the right time and the right place to help you. And he ran behind me and he ran over and opened the door for me. And I was like, and I said, yes, I wholeheartedly believe that God sent you here to help me. And I can't remember I have heard anyone in Denmark ever say something like that. It's the same down here when you meet someone and you're saying, hey, manishma, which means, hey, how are you? And they always respond, Baruch Hashem, thank you, God, I'm good. So only in Israel. So Jewish people, unite, stand strong, stand proud of who you are. It doesn't matter what the world is saying, because you know you are chosen for such a time as this. God has a plan with you. God has set you aside for this nation, to be a light amongst the nation, to shine in the world of darkness. Never back down for anything, never be pushed into anything. Do what is right for you. And just because someone is wearing civilian clothes, it doesn't mean they're not a terrorist. And you do what you need to do inside Gaza. So for such a time as this, around the world, you Israel supporters choose to be a Queen Esther for such a time as this, and stand up for Israel and speak up against your government, against your media. Have a lot more Israel rallies around the world. Get out in the street with Israeli flags. stand with Israel when we continue to see that the rest of the world, who has lost all moral compass, is out screaming from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, supporting and screaming for the modern day Nazis inside Gaza, who have said again and again, we want to carry out another October 7, including all the vile terrorists in Judea and Samaria. We want to carry out a 7 October attack in Judea and Samaria. Did you know that most of the Arabs, Palestinian Arabs in Judea and Samaria, they completely supported the October 7 attack on Israel? So this nation is constantly on alert. People in the army, in the police, the military, they are always out standing guard for Israel, protecting us, instead of this country could just live in peace because we were not surrounded by nations who want to wipe you out, or enemy from within. So Jewish people, Israel, God bless you, Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom. Me and my house will always stand with Israel, Jerusalem Jane, as I have been blessed to be here in Israel for so many years, reporting about what's really happening here, all of the horrendous terror attack you don't hear about in mainstream media, and all the times rockets were firing in, you didn't hear about, but when Israel was retaliating, oh my goodness, then you heard about it. God has a plan for Israel. Israel has been singled out as God's amazing holy land, the promised land. The promise to the Jewish people will stand forever. Chag Sameach. Bye.